Good morning, friends. Life places us among all kinds of people. Some inspire us, some challenge us, and some quietly drain the light out of us. It is not always easy to recognize who is truly destructive, because evil rarely comes with a label. It hides behind charm, power, or even false kindness. But if you look closely, there are unmistakable signs that reveal when someone is not just flawed. Hearts are cold, and no amount of reasoning or pleading can warm them. This lack of compassion sets them apart from ordinary human weakness. It reveals something darker. A third sign is deception. Lying is not an occasional act for them, it is their nature. They bend the truth without hesitation, not caring about the damage it causes. Their words cannot be trusted because behind every sentence lies an agenda. They know that trust is the foundation of every relationship, and by corrupting it, they gain power over those who dare to believe them. The fourth sign is their enjoyment of division and chaos. Where there is harmony, they bring conflict. Where there is peace, they stir unrest. They thrive when others are broken because a divided group is easier for them to control. They whisper, they slander, they plant seeds of doubt. Their presence is like poison, slowly spreading until relationships, families, or communities fall apart. Finally, the most chilling sign is their refusal to take responsibility. No matter what destruction they cause, it is always someone else's fault. They play the victim when cornered, skillfully shifting blame so they never appear guilty. This denial protects them from accountability, but it also reveals their true character, someone who would rather see others suffer than admit their own wrongdoing. If you recognize these signs, take them seriously. Evil does not always wear a terrifying mask. Sometimes it smiles, shakes your hand, and pretends to care. But behind the surface lies an intent to destroy. Protect your heart, guard your spirit, and choose wisely the people you allow into your life. Because while you cannot always stop evil from existing, you can stop it from controlling you. Manipulation is one of the most powerful and dangerous traits that marks the presence of an evil person because it is often invisible to those who are not looking closely. Unlike direct hostility, manipulation works in subtle ways, weaving itself into conversations, decisions, and even emotions until the victim is left second-guessing their own reality. At its core, manipulation is about control, but not the kind of control that is openly declared. It is a hidden hand guiding and twisting events to serve the manipulator's purpose while making others feel as though the choice was theirs all along. An evil person thrives on this kind of power, for it allows them to bend the will of others without confrontation, leaving no visible scars, but inflicting deep wounds on the mind and spirit. Such individuals often present themselves as helpful, caring, or wise, disguising their motives under the mask of concern or friendship. They may shower someone with attention and compliments, not because they truly value them, but because they are setting a trap, drawing their victim closer to a place of dependency. Once the victim begins to rely on their approval or guidance, the manipulator shifts the dynamic, making them feel guilty, inadequate, or indebted. This keeps the victim in a cycle of trying to please the manipulator, who uses guilt and fear like chains to hold them captive. What makes this so destructive is that the victim often does not even realize they are being controlled. Instead, they believe they are the problem, that they are too weak, too emotional, or too wrong to stand on their own. A manipulative person knows exactly which buttons to press. They can twist words, take advantage of vulnerabilities, and use personal secrets as leverage when it benefits them. They may also isolate their victim from others by planting seeds of doubt about friends, family, or anyone who might expose the truth. Over time, the victim begins to question their own judgment, losing confidence and becoming more dependent on the manipulator. This is the goal, to strip away a person's sense of freedom and replace it with submission disguised as loyalty or love. The danger of manipulation lies in its invisibility. While aggression can be confronted and lies can be exposed, manipulation often hides in the shadows of ordinary interactions. It is like a slow poison that weakens a person over time, leaving them unsure of what is real and who they can trust. And once someone is entangled in it, breaking free requires immense strength, awareness, and often outside support. That is why recognizing manipulation is the first step in protecting oneself from those who use it as a weapon of control. Lack of empathy is one of the clearest and most chilling signs that you are dealing with an evil person. While everyone makes mistakes or has moments of selfishness, most people carry an inner sense of compassion, a natural ability to feel for others and to be moved by their suffering. But an evil person is different. They are cold and detached when it comes to the pain of others, almost as if they are incapable of placing themselves in someone else's shoes. Instead of showing concern or comfort, they often react with indifference, mockery, or even delight when someone is hurting. This absence of empathy is not merely a flaw of personality, it is a window into their true nature. When someone lacks empathy, they can commit harmful acts without hesitation because they feel no remorse. They can betray, lie, or hurt without a second thought, since the suffering of their victim does not register as real in their mind. In fact, in some cases, they may even view the suffering they cause as a form of entertainment or validation of their power. This is what makes such people so dangerous. They are not guided by conscience, compassion, or a sense of shared humanity. Their world revolves only around themselves, and everyone else is either a tool to use or an obstacle to remove. This absence of empathy can be seen in small interactions as well as in larger actions. For example, when someone shares their struggles or pain, an empathetic person will listen, offer comfort, or try to help. An evil person, however, may dismiss the situation, belittle the emotions, or change the subject to themselves. Over time, their consistent disregard for the feelings of others creates an atmosphere of emotional coldness where those around them feel unseen, unheard, and unvalued. The damage of such behavior is profound, as it erodes trust, weakens bonds, and leaves victims feeling isolated and unworthy of care. Even more troubling is how such individuals can fake empathy when it suits them. They may mimic the right words, pretend to care, or put on an emotional performance in order to manipulate or deceive. But beneath the surface, their heart remains untouched by genuine compassion. This false empathy is often revealed over time, as their actions never match their words. In the end, the lack of true empathy is not just an absence of kindness, it is an active presence of cruelty, because it enables a person to use others without ever feeling the weight of the harm they cause. Deception is another undeniable sign that reveals the true character of an evil person. For them, lying is not an occasional misstep or a desperate attempt to cover up a mistake. It is a way of life, a tool they use to manipulate, control, and protect their own interest. Deception flows naturally from their lips, often mixed with just enough truth to make it believable. They lie not only to hide their wrongdoings, but also to create false realities where they appear innocent, trustworthy, or even heroic. This constant bending of the truth makes it nearly impossible for others to know what is real and what is not, leaving their victims caught in a web of confusion and mistrust. One of the most dangerous aspects of deception is its subtlety. An evil person rarely tells blatant, obvious lies that can be easily disproven. Instead, they specialize in half-truths, exaggerations, and selective omissions that distort reality without drawing immediate suspicion. They may twist facts, misrepresent intentions, or create stories that cast themselves in a favorable light while painting others as the problem. This type of dishonesty is calculated, designed not only to deceive but also to damage reputations, ruin relationships, and shift blame away from themselves. Over time, these small distortions accumulate, creating an alternate version of reality where the manipulator always comes out looking righteous while their victims appear guilty or weak. Deceptive people also know how to use charm as a cover for their dishonesty. They may appear kind, persuasive, or even generous when it suits them, but underneath that exterior lies an agenda. Their words are carefully chosen to achieve a specific outcome, whether it is gaining trust, avoiding responsibility, or exploiting others for personal gain. What makes this especially destructive is that many people want to believe the best in theirs, so they accept the lies without question, only to be betrayed when the truth eventually surfaces. The long-term effects of deception are devastating. It destroys trust, the very foundation of healthy relationships. It leaves people questioning their own judgment, wondering how they could have been fooled for so long. It sows division among friends, families, or communities as lies spread like wildfire and turn people against one another. Worst of all, it allows the deceiver to continue their harmful actions unchecked, since those around them remain blinded by false narratives. For an evil person, deception is not just a defense. It is their weapon of choice, and they wield it with precision to maintain control and keep others trapped in their web. An evil person often reveals their true nature through their enjoyment of division and chaos. Unlike those who naturally seek peace, understanding, or cooperation, they find satisfaction in creating tension, stirring conflict, and watching people turn against one another. Where unity exists, they see an opportunity to break it apart because harmony threatens their control. Division weakens individuals and groups, making them easier to manipulate and dominate, and that is precisely what such people desire. Their presence can be compared to a spark in dry grass. It does not take long for discord to spread, fueled by their whispers, lies, and schemes. One of the ways they accomplish this is through gossip and slander. They thrive on planting seeds of doubt in the minds of others, sharing half-truths or outright lies to create suspicion between friends, family members, or colleagues. By subtly twisting words or exposing secrets with malicious intent, they set people against each other. What makes this tactic so effective is that it often goes unnoticed until the damage is already done. Relationships that took years to build can be torn apart in moments once mistrust has been sown. For the evil person, this destruction is not a loss, but a victory, for it places them in a position of influence as others scramble to defend themselves or repair broken bonds. Beyond words, they create chaos by fostering competition, jealousy, and rivalry. They may favor one person over another, pit individuals against each other, or create circumstances where suspicion flourishes. Instead of encouraging cooperation, they exploit weaknesses, amplify differences, and highlight failures to keep people divided. This ensures that attention remains on internal conflict rather than on recognizing the manipulator's role in orchestrating the chaos. In their eyes, the more fractured a group becomes, the stronger their grip over it grows. The most unsettling aspect of this behavior is that they often seem energized by the turmoil they create. While others are distressed by arguments, division, or broken trust, they appear calm, amused, or even pleased. This is because disorder feeds their desire for dominance. They know that unity breeds strength while division breeds vulnerability, and they will always choose the path that benefits their hidden motives. Their love for division is not simply a destructive habit, but a deliberate strategy to weaken others and ensure that no bond, no trust, and no sense of peace can stand in their way. Refusal to take responsibility is one of the most revealing signs that you are dealing with an evil person. While everyone makes mistakes, most people feel guilt, admit when they are wrong, and try to make amends. But an evil person operates differently. They will twist every situation to avoid blame, no matter how clear their role in the wrongdoing may be. Accountability is like poison to them because admitting fault would mean exposing their true character. Instead, they master the art of deflection, denial, and projection, ensuring that someone else always bears the weight of their actions. When confronted, such individuals rarely acknowledge their failures. Instead, they play the victim, painting themselves as misunderstood, mistreated, or unfairly accused. This tactic not only distracts others from the truth, but also manipulates sympathy in their favor. They may shed false tears, tell exaggerated stories, or shift the focus onto the supposed faults of those calling them out. By doing so, they escape the consequences of their behavior while leaving their victims looking unreasonable, harsh, or even cruel for daring to demand accountability. This reversal of roles is a powerful tool because it silences many people who fear being seen as the aggressor. Another strategy they use is projection, blaming others for the very things they are guilty of themselves. For example, someone who lies constantly may accuse others of dishonesty, or a person who thrives on conflict may insist that those around them are the ones stirring up trouble. This not only diverts attention, but also creates confusion, making it harder for anyone to see the truth clearly. Over time, this constant shifting of responsibility leaves those around them drained and uncertain, unsure of who is truly at fault. What makes this refusal to take responsibility so destructive is that it prevents growth. Healing and resolution. Without accountability, the same harmful behaviors continue again and again, leaving a trail of broken trust and wounded people in their path. The evil person does not care about repairing relationships or making things right. They care only about preserving their image and maintaining control. In their world, admitting guilt is a weakness, so they will go to any length, lies, manipulation, or blame shifting, to keep themselves untouchable. This pattern reveals their true nature. They would rather sacrifice the well-being of others than face their own faults. It is not just pride that drives them, but a deliberate choice to escape accountability, ensuring that the harm they cause never comes back to their doorstep. Their refusal to take responsibility is not only a sign of selfishness, but also a dangerous refusal to change, leaving destruction in the lives of everyone who crosses their path. When we look closely at these 5 signs, manipulation, lack of empathy, deception, love of division, and refusal to take responsibility, it becomes clear that dealing with an evil person is not simply about facing someone with flaws or weaknesses. It is about confronting a mindset that thrives on control, destruction, and selfishness. Such individuals drain the life and peace out of others, leaving confusion, broken trust, and pain in their wake. They do not operate by accident, but by design, carefully weaving their actions to benefit themselves while harming those around them. The danger is that they often disguise themselves well. They may appear charming, friendly, or even trustworthy, but beneath that mask lies a heart that seeks only its own advantage. That is why recognizing these signs is so important. Awareness is the first line of defense. Once you know the patterns, you can see through the lies, resist the manipulation, and guard yourself from the damage they intend to cause. Protecting yourself from such people is not about living in fear, but about walking in wisdom. It is about setting boundaries, refusing to be drawn into their games, and surrounding yourself with those who value truth, compassion, and accountability. The presence of evil does not mean you are powerless. On the contrary, knowledge and discernment give you the strength to stand firm, to protect your peace, and to keep your spirit from being poisoned by those who seek to harm it. At the end of the day, you may not be able to change an evil person, but you can change how much access they have to your life. By recognizing these 5 signs and taking them seriously, you guard yourself, preserve your integrity, and ensure that their darkness does not overshadow your light. The choice to stay aware and vigilant is not just a defense, it is a declaration that you will not allow evil to control your story.